Hi guys, welcome back. In this video, I want to talk about time management and how my time management has changed over the years. And what made me want to talk about this was a comment that I got, which I want to go through. And then I want to talk about how time management applies to language learning. All right, so this message here was a response to a video I made about the AJAT method and using Anki and using flashcards every single day, adding 20 odd words a day into it, and spending probably over an hour to an hour and a half going through flashcards every day. Now, a lot of people don't agree with this. A lot of people, they go with a more natural method, linq.com being one of those methods. And in my opinion, there's more than one way to skin a cat, but I wanted to go through this message anyway and just respond to it properly. So the message says, most people who use Anki seem to be spending several hours a day on Anki, and that is completely inefficient and unacceptable. Unless you are a rich person, most have jobs and things during the day. They don't have the luxury to spend hours and hours studying a foreign language. So let's address the first point where he says most people are spending hours a day on Anki. I don't spend hours a day. I spend about, I would say by the time I'm finished, it will say something like you've spent 1.4 or 1.6 hours on your reps today. And those are reps up into the 500s a day. So usually it's about high 300s plus my 22 new cards, and then I get about 80% correct. So yeah, usually it's about 500 to 600 total reps, which takes me about an hour and a half. Now, saying it's inefficient and unacceptable, I'm not sure what is meant by unacceptable. Unacceptable is depending what you want to do and the way you want to study. Inefficient, I disagree. I'm yet to see anyone who learns in a more natural way who has found the success as quickly as those who use flashcards. Speed might not be the most important thing for you, that's fine. I'm not saying speed is the most important thing, but speed is definitely one of the most important things to me, and I think it's one of the most important things to the people that do use Anki. So unless you're a rich person, most people have jobs to do during the day. They don't have the luxury to spend hours. Well, again, I don't think you have to spend hours. And I also think immersion is the most important thing, not the actual flashcarding. But I don't know. I think people do have 1.5 hours a day to spend on flashcards. And I think people can probably find more hours than they think during the day. I know most people, if you want to talk about most people, I would say most people's time management is probably quite horrible and could probably use some tweaking. So I want to go through my time management and how it's adjusted, you could say, or improved even over the last couple of years. Because I really think that everything starts with time management. All the successes you want, it all begins with time management. So my time about 5 years ago was I'd get up, I'd probably order breakfast in, or I'd eat something like not that healthy. I'd be waking up really late, maybe 12, 1, something like that, because I taught English and I taught in the afternoons. So I'd kill that morning just sleeping in, and I'd go to bed late as well because I'd be like fluffing around, not doing much until 2, 3 in the morning. So then I'm waking up really late, and then I go to work and I come home, and then I'm just staying up late and I'm not really doing anything with my time there as well. So that was probably me 5 years ago, basically a brokey, as the new word is, and not really doing much with my life. So after that, let's say 3 years ago, I started thinking about my time management more. And the thing that stuck out to me the most was that whole morning was just wasted. And it was wasted because the night was wasted. So I thought to myself, okay, the first step I'm gonna do to improve my time management is to cut out all the garbage that I do. Cut out messing around on YouTube till 3 in the morning, browsing rubbish, and yeah, just wasting my time. TV shows, games, all that kind of stuff. Just way too much time was spent on that. So then what happened was I started going to bed at maybe 11, 12. Then I'd wake up at 8 or 9, and then I had the whole morning because I still didn't have to go to my job until say 3 in the afternoon. So in the morning, I had all this free time. What did I fill it with? Going to the gym, okay? Already a huge improvement on your life, and already something most people actually don't do. So I started going to the gym. So now I'm working and I'm going to the gym, right? So my life starting to improve. I'm going to bed earlier. I'm waking up earlier. With the gym, I also started eating healthier. as well, because you don't want to go to the gym and waste all that time and all that energy and all that pain and then, you know, go home and eat Pizza Hut. So I had time to go to the gym, I had time to come home and cook my meals, and you know, that was like another focus in my life that improved it. So the lesson there is the first thing you can do is figure out all the time you spent wasting on rubbish, fluffing around, hazing on your phone, and replace that with something productive. So that's the first lesson of time management, I suppose. So fast forward to maybe 2 years ago. What was I doing then? Well, even though I was waking up earlier, I was getting more efficient with the gym and cooking. When you get a routine going, you start to be able to do that routine quicker. In the beginning, when you change your routine, there's a lot of friction, and some people even quit their change in routine. But if you stick with it, things become efficient and easier. And then I had even more free time, and I was like, well, now what can I do? I've got, like, you know, maybe I was getting to the gym, getting home, eating, and it was still only like 12 p.m. and I had to leave for work at 3 p.m. So I've got 3 hours there. So then I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to be teaching forever. Let's start on, you know, trying to figure out how I can maybe travel and work from my laptop. So then I'm spending 3 hours on that before I go to work, and then I'm spending probably 3-4 hours on that after I get home from work. In fact, I was actually probably staying up till 3 in the morning every day like I used to, except this time I wasn't doing it watching Netflix and YouTube. I was actually doing it and trying to do something productive. So then at that point, I've basically got my job, I've got the gym, I've got some side hustle that I'm trying to figure out, but putting a lot of time into, because, you know, the more time you put into it, the quicker you succeed. It's as simple as that. So my time management has already improved significantly, and I'm doing more productive things with my life. Now, fast forward to maybe last year, okay? My life at this point is extremely simple. It's extremely, I guess you could say, streamlined, but I don't have a lot of things in my life, which could be a plus and it could be a negative. I got this from Tai Lopez, this concept of health, wealth, love, and happiness. It's something that I think is a good philosophy to simplify your life. And so what that means is my life is basically summed up into health, going to the gym, wealth, working on my business full time, because eventually I was able to quit my job and now work full time online on my online business. And love, I don't know, I go on dates here and there, but then the happiness part as well. So the happiness is doing what I think will also aid in my life, and in the context of a lot of what's on my channel, it's Japanese. So I wake up, I go to the gym, I come home, I do some work, and then I'm like, okay, at 3 p.m. every day, I sit down and I get through those reps. I've gone through this in another video. If I have 22 new words a day, I do it like gym sets. Okay, I do a warm-up set where I do reviews until it's down to 20 new cards. Then I do another set of 20 minutes until I'm down to 15 new cards, and then 10, and then 5, and then 0. And I get through those in about an hour and a half or 2 hours, including breaks. While I'm working, I'm immersing, I'm listening. While I'm at the gym, I'm immersing and listening. Throughout the entire day, I'm still doing immersion. When I finish my work, I will sit and I'll watch a show. And then when I watch the show, I am mining new sentences. So, you know, that's my Japanese, that's my new words taken care of for the day. And then I'll wind down, sit on the couch or go to bed and put on some Japanese YouTube, something more simple, something I can follow along a lot easier than, say, an anime or a TV show, and just kind of watch that until, you know, it's a reasonable time to go to sleep. So I heard this quote the other day, and it was quite profound, but it's something I definitely agree with. And a lot of people think stress comes from, like I said before, changing your habits and like trying to start something new, and the friction that comes with that can create stress. But this quote said, stress doesn't come from difficulty, stress comes from chaos. It comes from a lack of order. Now, while a lot of people might say your life is pretty boring, what do? Just wake up, gym, work, Japanese, and sometimes you go on a date. It does seem pretty boring, but it's extremely simple, and I get a lot done, and there's a lot of time that I do not waste, and it's very ordered. Now, do I have a lot of fun? Like, you know, I'll meet my friends and like, have you seen this new Netflix show, or do you want to go to this club, or do you want to go to this place? Well, I am trying to improve on that. Basically, no. I probably do the least amount of quote unquote fun than anyone I know. But do I feel more stressed and do I feel more unhappy? No, because the accomplishment I get from having such a simple life and having basically a few simple goals like get better at the gym, get better at Japanese, improve revenue to the business, and make sure I'm eating well, cook well. That simplification actually makes me happier than I've ever been. The things that annoy me the most is when I'm off schedule. Like someone had to come over today to buy my computer and they said like, oh, I'm gonna be like an hour. So I'm like sat here, I had to reset the computer, I had to wait for them to arrive. I didn't want to get into my work because, you know, I don't want to be interrupted. And that kind of threw me off. The other day I had to go to hospital to like get a checkup and I'm like, oh, that's gonna take like an hour and a half. And then I'm like, oh, that's annoying. So that kind of stuff annoys me, which, you know, there's a plus and a negative to sort of having your life that ordered and that organized. But I would say for most people, for people who are complaining that they don't have the luxury of hours, it's tough for me to believe that. I think most people actually have a lot of chaos in their lives. They have a lot of time wasted. They have a lot of time fluffing around. They have maybe too many elements that they're focusing on or ideas that they're thinking about and not executing on. If you are struggling with getting an hour and a half out of your day, eking out an hour and a half to go through some Anki reps, it's difficult for me to believe that you can't somehow optimize your day to allow yourself to have that time. I just find that hard to believe. I know most people are not so optimized with everything that they can't adjust in some way. You know, most people are probably not even close to that. Like me, even 2-3 years ago, there was still a lot of BSing that I was doing in my life, a lot of time still spent on stuff that wasn't productive, just garbage, just hazing on my phone or whatever. So as a closing statement, I would say figure out what you want in life. It's not unacceptable or inefficient to study in a certain way. It's much more inefficient and unacceptable to probably do other things that you're doing in your life. How many Netflix binges do you do a week? How much video game playing do you do a week? Maybe you like doing that kind of stuff, but I would say life is about figuring out what you really want, figuring out what pushes you forward, and then optimizing your time for those things while keeping your life extremely simple. If you want to copy that philosophy, health, wealth, love, and happiness, maybe focus on that. Is Netflix binging and video gaming really making you happy? Will it make you happy in the long term, or are your dopamine receptors just fried and that kind of gives you that quick boost? Okay, so I would figure that out first. And yeah, today I guess a bit of a rant about time management, but really you should always be self-auditing and constantly optimizing your time and separating the wheat from the chaff as much as possible. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what kind of problems you're having with your time management. Like, is there something you want to do but you feel like you're unable to do it? Are you really someone that's optimized their time completely and you really can't eke out like an hour and a half to go through some Anki reps or to do something, to work on a business? Like, is that really the case? Because I would bet that it's not. But for some of you, maybe it truly is. But still, I do believe everybody can improve on their time management. Let me know what problems you're facing with your time management, though, and let me know, if I've missed the mark or whether you agree, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.